Shane McMahon is reportedly spotted talking to AEW TBS champion Mercedes Mone at a New York City airport, and according to one report who overheard the conversation, they were talking about All Elite Wrestling. Ricochet officially leaves WWE after his contract with the company has now officially expired, and he is expected to become All Elite. Natalya reportedly was not backstage last night at Monday Night Raw amid conversations and discussions about her contract expiring this summer. Drew McIntyre qualifies for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and promises to leave Toronto as a world champion. The Wyatt Six continue to haunt Chad Gable as Bo Dallas's backstory is explored more by Uncle Howdy last night on Raw. Liv Morgan retains the Women's World Championship last night after some interference, or was it, from Dominic Mysterio. Tony Khan provides an update on the ticket sales for AEW Allin at Wembley Stadium. Zoe Starks qualifies for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and Corey Graves fills in for Pat McAfee on Raw. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about a chance encounter between Shane McMahon and Mercedes Mone as the rumors about Shane and Mac coming to All Elite Wrestling continue to rumble on. With their latest pay-per-view having taken place in the New York City metropolitan area, the AEW roster spent the weekend traveling through one of the crossroads of the world, LaGuardia Airport. Simply passing through it could lead to rubbing elbows with anyone from celebrities to former co-workers. Such was the case for Shane McMahon and one of AEW's top champions. According to PW Insider, Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks in WWE, was seen speaking to McMahon at the Queen's Airport. There was no confirmed word on what the two talked about, although PW Insider is reporting that according to their sources, they did have a conversation about AEW. Now, McMahon has been in the news cycle as of late due to rumours swirling about his possible participation in AEW. AEW President and CEO Tony Khan has confirmed that while he hasn't spoken to McMahon directly or ever met him, Shane would be welcome in the company. Now, McMahon is no longer under contract to WWE. His recent appearance in the WWE 2K24 video game was done under a previous agreement and hasn't wrestled regularly since really sort of 2019-2020, with his most recent appearance and immediate knee injury coming at WrestleMania 39 last year. Now, Shane, being the son of former WWE chairman Vince McMahon, is pretty much going to be a really interesting situation if McMahon was to end up, of course, in All Elite Wrestling. So, do you think that this is once again one of these situations where it's going to be overblown, it's going to be played out as something bigger than it is, or does it add more to the rumors that McMahon could be becoming All Elite in the future? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Ricochet, he is seemingly on his way to AEW. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, Ricochet's WWE contract is up. Now, Fightful Select reported in recent months that former Speed champion Ricochet's WWE contract was set to expire, and Fightful can now confirm that as of midnight on July 1st, Ricochet's deal with the company has officially expired. The company moved him to their alumni section on June 30, a few hours before his deal was up. However, he was not contractually able to appear at the AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Sources within both WWE and AEW expect Ricochet to join All Elite Wrestling. As Fightful Select reported on Sunday, despite the speculation, Ricochet wasn't planned to face Will Ospreay at All In, at least as of recent weeks. Ricochet was written off WWE television by Bron Breakker several weeks ago on Raw and was not used again and wasn't at the following TV tapings. Now, for those asking about Samantha Irvin, she's expected to continue with WWE in her role as the ring announcer for Monday Night Raw. So what are your thoughts on Ricochet officially leaving WWE? When do you expect him to show up in AEW? And when he does, if he does, who do you expect him to face off against imminently? Let me know your thoughts about that too. Now, Natalya, speaking of contracts in WWE, this is an interesting one that's continued to develop. Now, Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp has learned that longtime WWE superstar Natalya was not backstage at last night's Raw and was not planned for the show of the evening anyway. Now, this is interesting because Natalya's WWE deal has been set to expire this summer, and at least internally, the company is very quiet, according to Sapp, about any developments. Now, Fightful said they have confirmed that the two sides have been engaged in contract extension talks. This development doesn't indicate the direction of those talks one way or another. Sources in WWE have been hopeful that they would retain her, but Fightful said they've not heard if a new deal has been reached. Now, there have been numerous talent and staff in AEW who push for the possibility of Natalya joining the company. Mercedes Mone alluded to both Natalya and TJ Wilson during a recent interview. What do you think happens with the future of Natalya? Do you think she sticks in WWE? Or could she possibly make the jump to AEW? Now, Drew McIntyre, he has qualified for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match this weekend. Drew McIntyre is heading to Toronto to compete in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and he vowed to walk out of the city as a world champion. McIntyre defeated Sheamus and Ilya Dragunov in the main event of WWE Raw to secure his spot in the match alongside Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Chad Gable, and Andrade. Despite McIntyre laying out CM Punk on a recent episode of SmackDown and stealing a friendship bracelet bearing the names of Punk's wife and dog, the Second City Saint was not a factor on the Red Brand's go-home show for Money in the Bank. Former NXT champion Dragunov proved to be a force to be reckoned with in the match after initially being thrown aside for McIntyre and Sheamus to square up. He delivered an H-bomb to Sheamus on the floor from the apron, then hit a senton from the top rope onto McIntyre before connecting with another H-bomb. Dragunov even got both of his opponents up to the top rope to deliver a suplex from the second. In a flurry of moves with McIntyre, Dragunov was hit with a Glasgow kiss, with McIntyre then looking for a Claymore kick, but Dragunov connected with a Torpedo Moscow. The finishing sequence of the match saw McIntyre and Sheamus face-to-face once again in the middle of the ring. Sheamus missed a bro kick but hit a big knee, but ran straight into a Claymore from McIntyre. The Scottish Warrior then pinned his on-again, off-again friend for the victory. He proclaimed on the mic following the match that he would be leaving Toronto with world title gold, implying he would win the Money in the Bank contract and cash it in later on the very same night. Now, the Wyatt Six. We saw more developments of this faction last night on Monday Night Raw. The Wyatt Six continued to scare Chad Gable and make fans question their motives after appearing in the opening segment of Monday's episode of Raw. Money in the Bank ladder match contender Jey Uso opened up the show, but was interrupted by Gable, and the pair faced off, arguing about their respective families and stables, as well as the Wyatt Six, before beating each other down. Gable rolled out of the ring before Uso could hit his signature splash, but the lights in the arena went dark and the familiar piano tune signaling the Wyatt Six arrival began. The camera swung around and revealed Uso was no longer in the ring, and smoke began filling the area. Gable hopped the barricade and started backing away into the crowd, but encountered the former Joe Gacy as Huskus the Pig, Dexter Lumis as Mercy the Buzzard, and Eric Rowan as Ramblin' Rabbit, all backlit and menacing as Gable attempted to continue to escape. He jumped another barricade and ran up the steps of the arena as the broadcast cut down to ringside, avoiding another implied beatdown from the stable. Abby the Witch, formerly known as Nikki Cross, appeared in the fog and gave Michael Cole another VHS tape that was revealed to say "Play Me" on the side when the commentator revealed it later to the audience. Last week's tape featured Bo Dallas seemingly holding a therapy session with himself, speaking to his Uncle Howdy character about his late brother Bray Wyatt, whose ideas the Wyatt Six stable was based on. When the tape was played on Raw, it showed Uncle Howdy and Dallas once again seated across from each other in what appeared to be the Firefly Funhouse. Dallas asked Howdy how much longer they were going to keep doing this and why they were even here. Howdy then asked Dallas if he honestly believed he brought him to life, to which Dallas responded he was destined to do this. He told Howdy that they are the ones that everybody wanted to forget about. The most important part of the interaction came when Dallas said the other members of the Wyatt Six weren't chosen, just willing, and they've become a family. Dallas seemed to imply that the faction is going after Gable for a reason. Quote, "Even now, the false prophets parade, belittling their family for their own gain," Dallas said. "It's disgusting. They must pay for their sins." Howdy asked Dallas why he thought it was his responsibility, to which Dallas replied, "I am the voice of the reckoning," and Howdy quickly responded, "I am the reckoning." The video then cut to Howdy and Dallas seemingly forming together, repeating the phrases, "I am nobody, I am all of us, I freed them from the cave, and I gave them family." As they chanted, Howdy disappeared, and fans only saw Dallas sitting in the funhouse by himself. Howdy then reappeared, and Dallas was then gone. "There you are," Dallas's voice said to end the videotape. Now, Liv Morgan, she is still the Women's World Champion after retaining her championship last night on Raw. On Monday's Raw, Liv Morgan wrestled her first televised match since defeating Becky Lynch at the end of May, more than a month ago. Her opponent was Selena Vega, who had previously called Morgan out for caring more about Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day than her Women's World Championship. Unfortunately for Selena, she was unable to wrest the title away from Morgan on Raw, as a distraction from Dominic Mysterio gave Morgan the opening to hit Oblivion and retain the title, similar to the way she won the title at King and Queen of the Ring back in Saudi Arabia. Morgan and Vega were mostly evenly matched until Vega took control by kicking Morgan's legs out from under her while she was on the second rope. Morgan quickly retaliated, however, and kicked Vega to the outside. That's about when Dirty Dom came to ringside, to Morgan's delight, but while the champion was watching Dominic, Vega hit her with a Meteora on the outside. Dominic's father, Rey Mysterio, made his way out to the ring to keep his son in check ahead of their match on Raw themselves. Later on in the contest, Morgan baseball slid into Rey, allowing Vega to hit a 619, but Morgan kicked out. Dominic then grabbed a chair and slid it towards Vega, saying use it, as he stood on the apron. Vega followed his advice but threw it into Dominic's face, causing him to fall off the apron, which is when Morgan hits her with the Oblivion for the victory. After the match, Kathy Kelly asked Morgan if everything is going as planned with the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Morgan replied that she, quote, feels like the luckiest girl in the world, and dedicated this week's win and all future wins to the most gorgeous man in WWE, my daddy Dominic. Later in the show, Morgan would attempt to return the favour and help Dominic in his match against Rey, but when Selena came down to even the odds, Morgan ended up accidentally costing Dominic the win. Now, Tony Khan, he's provided a bit of an update when it comes to the ticket sales for AEW Allin later this year. With Forbidden Door in AEW's rear view, all eyes are now on their return to Wembley Stadium in London for All In. While the official sales numbers for All In 2023 were disputed amongst many in the wrestling community, there's no denying that the event was a rousing success, becoming one of the highest attended wrestling shows of all time. Previous reports have noted that it's unlikely that All In 2024 will top the attendance record of its predecessor. AEW President Tony Khan, however, was more optimistic during the Forbidden Door media scrum. He said, quote, last year we sold 81,035 tickets, set a world record, Khan said. We're going back. I think it's a really bold play, and we're off to a great start on tickets. You know, we're at a really similar pace to last year, which is tremendous. We really have had a really good pace for sales. While he gave no specific figures, Khan did note that he expects the rest of AEW Summer to build stories and matches that will help move the remaining tickets for Wembley this August. Quote, just like last year, we started announcing exciting matches and things really started rolling more and more, said Khan. I think we're going to see that again because this is going to be a really hot summer for us. Now, as of this recording, no matches have been officially announced for All In. However, it was previously announced that the winners of the men's and women's Owen Hart Foundation tournaments will receive shots at their respective world titles at All In. The semi-finals for each tournament will begin Wednesday, July 3rd in Chicago on AEW Dynamite Beach Break. Now, going back to Raw last night, Zoe Stark has qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. With one spot left in the Women's Money in the Bank match, Dakota Kai, Zoe Stark, and Ivy Nile squared off, with Kai looking to join her Damage Control ally Io Sky as part of the field, looking to ascend the ladder and secure a guaranteed title shot at the Premium Live event on Saturday. Despite a distraction from yet another Damage Control member, Kairi Sane, which had things shaping up nicely for Kai, WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Alba Fire and Isla Dawn took out Sane outside of the ring, temporarily distracting Kai, who fell victim to Stark's Z360 and ate the pin. Stark now joins a field of contenders on Saturday in Toronto, competing in her second Money in the Bank ladder match in consecutive years against fellow Raw stars Sky and Lyra Valkyria, as well as Naomi, Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton from SmackDown. And finally, speaking of Raw last night, once again we had no Pat McAfee on the show. This time Corey Graves was his replacement. Last week McAfee was absent from Raw due to the sad news of his father-in-law passing away. He was replaced by The Miz, who joined Michael Cole for much of the show on that occasion, with Cole then calling a portion of it on his own, as Miz did actually have a match. McAfee remained off commentary for last night's July 1st episode of Raw, with another replacement alongside Cole. SmackDown lead announcer Corey Graves made his return to Raw to join Michael Cole at the commentary desk. During the first few moments of the show, Cole did state that Pat McAfee is expected to return on next week's episode. We wish McAfee and his family all the best. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.